India's Ministry of Home Affairs has been informed of the initial investigation into the violent clashes that erupted in West Bengal's Murshidabad district. The probe reportedly suggests the involvement of alleged Bangladeshi miscreants, the unrest which occurred on the 12th of April and the 13th in several parts of Murshidabad, including Suti, Dhulia and Jangipur, was triggered by protests against the amended Waqf Act. At least 3 people have been reported dead and several others injured in the communal flare-up, which saw shops, homes and hotels set on fire. Meanwhile, an international dimension has been revealed in the Murshidabad unrest, with investigative agencies tracing funding sources to Turkey. Now, according to reports, those allegedly involved in the violence were trained for 3 months and paid 500 rupees each to incite rioting, pointing to a well-planned operation with foreign backing. The revelations come amidst fresh unrest in West Bengal's South 24 Parganas district. Fresh violence broke out in Bhangar after supporters of the Indian Secular Front, or ISF, clashed with the police during a protest against the Waqf Act. The protest turned violent when police stopped ISF supporters from proceeding to a rally at the Ramlila Maidan in Kolkata, which was to be addressed by ISF leader and Bhangar MLA Naushad Siddiqui. Tension escalated near Bhojerhat on Basanti Highway, where large groups from Bhangar, Minakhan and Sandesh Khali had gathered. When protesters tried to breach police barricades, clashes erupted. Several police vehicles were torched and many people sustained injuries. The situation in Bhangar was later brought under control. The twin incidents in Murshidabad and Bhangar have raised serious concerns about organized attempts to destabilize the region. Local and international elements are now under the scanner. The Supreme Court of India criticized yet another controversial Allahabad High Court ruling, this time over a judge's remark that a rape survivor had quote-unquote invited trouble and was also responsible for the same. This time, the apex court flagged remarks made by a judge while granting bail to a rape accused, stating that the woman had herself invited trouble and was also responsible for the same. Giving his ruling, Justice B.R. Gavai said, and I quote, "In another case also, another judge of the same court has said something like this, granting bail in an alleged rape case. That judge said a woman had herself invited trouble and was also responsible for the same. Let bail be given, but why make such comments? A judge has to be very careful," unquote. Solicitor General Tushar Mehta added, and I quote, "Justice should not only be done but seen to be done. A common man will perceive that the judge is not conversant with legal nuances," unquote. The Supreme Court has now listed the matter for further hearing after 4 weeks. A village in Tamil Nadu was left in shock after residents received a notice allegedly declaring their land as Waqf property. Around 150 families from Kattukollai village in Anaikattu Taluk approached the Vellore district collector's office seeking urgent intervention. The notice, reportedly issued by Sayyid Ali Sultan Shah, claimed that the land belonged to a local dargah and demanded that the villagers either vacate immediately or begin paying tax to the dargah. The affected families, who have lived in the area for 4 generations and depend entirely on agriculture for their livelihood, were left stunned by the demand. Many villagers possess government-issued documents proving ownership of the land. they gathered at the collector's office demanding protection and clarity. Leader of the Hindu Munnani Katchi, Mahesh, who led the villagers to the collector's office, demanded immediate action from the administration. He urged the administration to issue land ownership documents to the residents to safeguard their rights. This incident mirrors a similar case in Tiruchendurai village in Tiruchirappalli district, where the Tamil Nadu Waqf board claimed ownership of around 480 acres of land, including a 1,500-year-old Chola-era temple. Tamil Nadu Congress leader Hassan Maulana backed the Waqf claim and said that the preamble of Waqf is once a Waqf, always a Waqf.
Everything has a preamble in this constitution. Now, when you say Indian Constitution, social secular republic, okay, the preamble of Waqf is once Waqf is always a Waqf. Once it has become a Waqf, it's always a Waqf. A Waqf property which will have documents in the Waqf board. If it is there, then these people are given notice, and they will be told, they will be given a minimal rental charge on them. So this minimal rental will even make the Waqf board stronger, will also keep them happy. But eventually Waqf board will not vacate them. So you should understand one thing, living in somebody's property is not correct in this law. But again, if you are there, you have to pay rent for it to claim being there. That is how it is. So it is a small thing that the Waqf board should check on it. If their people are really downtrodden, they should be taken care of. Then a minimal rental and their life should be kept in peace. Yeah.
Meanwhile, a masjid official claimed that they have documents proving that this property belongs to them.
I have given a notice to the village peoples who are residing there in our Waqf. It is because I am claiming because of I am having all the records which belongs to our Waqf. It shows that from the year 1954 itself, that is from the government of Tamil Nadu Gazette, it has been mentioned that the mentioned property that belongs to our Waqf. So, and also even from the Waqf board, they have given us a performer report. In that they have mentioned clearly that some of the properties that belongs to our Waqf, and that is why we are claiming that actually they themselves know that it belongs to our masjid property, and even we spoke with those peoples, and they know that it belongs to our that is our masjid property. And even we have spoken some of the times that they have to pay the land rent to us, not the building rent, or they have to pay the tax or something.
In his fight for federal rights after the language policy and delimitation row, Tamil Nadu's Chief Minister MK Stalin moved the State Autonomy resolution in the Tamil Nadu State Assembly. MK Stalin announced that a committee is being formed under the leadership of former Supreme Court Judge Kurian Joseph to protect the legitimate rights of the states as provided in the Constitution of India and to strengthen the relationship between the Union and state governments. The committee includes Ashok Vardhan Shetty, a retired IAS officer and former Vice Chancellor of the Indian Maritime University, Professor M. Naganathan, former Vice Chairman of the Tamil Nadu State Planning Commission as well. The resolution's move is aimed at giving the state more powers and strengthen relations with the centre. Now, the committee has been given a deadline of January 2026 to present an interim report to the state government, while a complete report is expected by the year 2028. Addressing the Tamil Nadu State Assembly, Stalin said, and I quote, "To strengthen the relationship between state and union government, this committee will do a research and give recommendations." BJP's Nayanar Nagendran, while reacting, said, and I quote, "What the DMK wants is to break the union of states."
இவங்க மாநிலங்களை பிரிக்கணும் அப்படிங்கிற பிரிவினைவாதத்துக்கு தான் இவங்க தூண்டுறாங்களே தவிர நீங்க இந்திய அரசு ஒற்றுமையா இருக்கணும், இந்திய நாடு வல்லரசு நாடாங்கிற எண்ணம் இவங்களுக்கு இல்லை. இப்பொழுது முதலமைச்சர் என்ன பண்ணி நினைக்கிறாங்கன்னா தனி தமிழ்நாடு வேணும், தனி கொடி வேணும் அப்படின்னு ஏற்கனவே முன்னாடி ஒரு முன்மொழிஞ்சதை இப்போ அவங்க நினைக்கிறாங்க. இது நம்ம நாடு வல்லரசா நாடு மாறணும்னா எல்லா மாநிலங்களும் ஒன்னா தான் இருக்கும்.
One of the key ideologies of the DMK is state autonomy. Former Chief Minister Karunanidhi in 1969 had set up a committee headed by Justice P.V. Rajamannar to study the center-state relations. The committee was tasked to study the center-state relationship and propose constitutional amendments to strengthen the state's autonomy. In the year 1974, as Chief Minister, Karunanidhi had passed a state autonomy resolution in the House as well. Comedian Veer Das narrated his frustrating experience while traveling with Air India. The actor and stand-up comedian who was traveling with his wife to Delhi wrote a long note on social media explaining what all conspired to make his journey look like a nightmare. The 45-year-old shared that his wife was suffering from a fractured foot and therefore they paid for some extra service, but nothing helped during the journey. Das, who is an international Emmy award-winning comedian, revealed that he was greeted by a broken table, broken leg rests and a stuck seat which refused to straighten. Das went on to mention how the horror didn't stop and he continued to face issues with even the on-ground staff at the airport. Interestingly, Air India responded to Veer Das's post in the comments section after 3 hours. The airline wrote, and I quote, "Dear Mr. Das, we understand and empathize with the experience. Please share us the booking details via DM for us to look into this on priority," unquote. A shocking case of violence has emerged from Karnataka's Devanagari district, where a woman was brutally assaulted in broad daylight in a Taliban-style attack. The incident occurred on the 9th of April in Tavarakere village in Channagiri Taluk, right outside the Jamia Masjid. 6 men attacked 38-year-old Nasreen Banu and her relatives, Nasreen and Fayaz, using ropes, wooden sticks and iron pipes. Horrifying visuals of the assault have gone viral on social media. Reports suggest that the attack was triggered by allegations of an illicit relationship. 2 days before the assault, the victim's husband had filed a complaint at the local masjid. Police say the accused, all from the same village, launched the attack before the woman could be questioned. The arrested men have been identified as Mohammad Niaz, Mohammad Ghaus Peer, Chand Peer, Inayat Ullah, Dastagir and Rasul TR. The Channagiri police have arrested all 6 accused. The exact motive is still under investigation. The Kerala government has strongly opposed NCERT's reported decision to introduce Hindi titles for English medium textbooks. The state's General Education Minister V. Sivan Kutti has termed the move as irrational and a cultural imposition that threatens India's linguistic diversity. The National Council of Educational Research and Training, or NCERT, has reportedly decided to replace traditional English titles in textbooks with Hindi names like Mridangam and Santoor, even for English medium students. Minister Sivan Kutti said, and I quote, "This decision is a serious irrationality and a cultural imposition. English medium textbooks should retain English titles as they help students develop sensitivity and understanding. Forcing Hindi titles contradicts Kerala's commitment to linguistic diversity and regional autonomy," unquote. This move has sparked a sharp reaction in Kerala. The minister has accused NCERT of undermining federal principles and constitutional values by pushing a unilateral change without consulting states. He has further urged the NCERT to withdraw the decision and called upon all states to unite against what he termed linguistic imposition. He emphasized that education should empower, not enforce, uniformity. Moving on, a fresh political storm has erupted in Tamil Nadu after Governor R.N. Ravi made explosive remarks about the plight of Dalits in the state. In what's being seen as his sharpest critique yet, Governor R.N. Ravi used his Raj Bhavan platform on Ambedkar Jayanti to deliver a scathing indictment of Tamil Nadu's social justice record. The governor claimed, and bear in mind these are his exact words, quote-unquote, heartbreaking discrimination continues against Dalits. He cited specific instances that have sent shockwaves through political circles. Adding fuel to this, the governor also spoke about a controversial remark about Dr. Ambedkar's legacy.
Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, who gave us the beautiful constitution which has kept this country in good shape, whose life was dedicated to the social justice for Dalits, marginalized, deprived, downtrodden, those who were suppressed for a long time for their upliftment. And it's time to reflect what Baba Saheb had dreamed, what Baba Saheb wanted. What kind of country, what kind of society that he had dreamt of. Whether we have fulfilled his dream, where are we? In fact, when I came to Tamil Nadu, a place where every day in and out people keep talking about social justice, and I started understanding the state, I was pained to see the plight of our Dalit brothers and sisters. Baba Saheb was, after the constitution was made, which he gave us, in his own lifetime he was humiliated. And his mission was derailed within no time. In his lifetime he was humiliated because he was not allowed to enter the parliament. Imagine the person who gave us the constitution, the person, there was no match for him.
Tamil Nadu Minister Govi Cherian has released a statement rebutting the governor's claims. He said, and I quote, "These are pure lies. When BJP ruled states top the caste violence charts, what moral right does the governor have to lecture us?" Unquote. The current debate that has sparked off is not just about Dalit rights. It's the latest flashpoint in the ongoing Cold War between the DMK government and the BJP-appointed governor in Tamil Nadu. Meanwhile, Dalit groups have announced statewide consultations on the governor's remarks. In a major development, businessman Robert Vadra has been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate in connection with the Gurugram land deal case. Vadra is facing fresh scrutiny under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act or PMLA for which he is being interrogated by the Enforcement Directorate. This marks his second summon. He had skipped the earlier one on the 8th of April, citing prior commitments. As he walked to the Enforcement Directorate headquarters, Vadra struck a defiant tone, accusing the central agency of targeting him for political reasons. He was seen marching from his residence to the ED office, alleging political vendetta.
जब भी लोगों के हित में मैं बोलूंगा, जब भी जनता की आवाज बुलंद करूंगा, ये लोग दबाएंगे और मीडिया और ये लोग एजेंसियों का दुरुपयोग करेंगे। मुझे किसी चीज के लिए छुपाने की जरूरत नहीं है और मैं हमेशा जितने भी सवाल पूछेंगे हमेशा जवाब देता हूं और देता रहूंगा मैं। ठीक है।
The case pertains to alleged irregularities in land deals in Gurugram, with the ED probing possible money laundering. Vadra has been under the scanner for years now, but he has consistently denied any wrongdoing, calling the investigation a witch hunt. In yet another incident of a wild elephant attack in Kerala, 2 people lost their lives early this morning. This marks the death toll due to elephant attacks at 3 in just 2 days. The latest incident happened at Attirapalli in Thrissur, in the deep forest, where the 2 victims had gone to collect forest produce. When they did not return, a search was conducted and it was discovered that they were killed in an elephant attack. And that's according to the local eyewitnesses over there. The federal government says it's freezing more than $2.2 billion in grants and contracts to Harvard University in the US, since the institution said on Monday that it will not comply with the Trump administration's demands to limit activism on campus. In a letter to Harvard, the administration called for broad government and leadership reforms, a requirement that Harvard institute what it called as merit-based admissions and hiring policies, as well as conduct an audit of the study body, faculty and leadership on their views about diversity. The demands, which are an update from an earlier letter, also call for a ban on face masks, which appear to target pro-Palestinian protesters. They also pressure the university to stop recognizing or funding any student group or club that endorses or promotes criminal activity, illegal violence or illegal harassment. Harvard President Alan Garber said in a letter to the Harvard community that the demands violated the university's First Amendment rights and exceeds the statutory limits of the government's authority, which prohibits discrimination against students based on their race, color, or national origin. Harvard is one of the several Ivy League schools targeted in a pressure campaign by the US administration, which also has paused federal funding for the University of Pennsylvania, Brown, and Princeton to force compliance with its agenda. Harvard's demand letter is similar to the one that prompted changes at Columbia University under the threat of billions of dollars in cuts. The demands from the Trump administration prompted a group of alumni to write to university leaders, calling it to legally contest and refuse to comply with the unlawful demands that threaten academic freedom and the university's self-governance. Pop star Katy Perry and 5 other women flew to space on board a Blue Origin rocket and safely returned to Earth on the 14th of April, marking the first all-women space mission in over 60 years.
Tamir's in space. Okay. Now it's time. It's okay. Leave Flynn up there. Flynn, bye. You look. Guys, I will have to tell you, look at the moon. That's amazing. Wow, look at the blue line.
The crew lifted off from West Texas, reaching the edge of space, where the crew experienced a few moments of weightlessness before landing back on Earth. The entire journey lasted about 11 minutes, as shown in Blue Origin's live broadcast. The flight was a major win for Blue Origin, the space company founded by Amazon's Jeff Bezos, and its new Shepard rocket designed for space tourism. The 6-member crew included Bezos' fiancée, Lauren Sanchez, CBS anchor Gayle King, former NASA engineer Aisha Bao, scientist Amanda Nguyen, and film producer Kerry Ann Flynn. Blue Origin hasn't revealed the usual cost of a seat, but says interested travelers must pay a $150,000 refundable deposit to begin the booking process.
Tamir's in space!